everyone and welcome back to AustinPlus commentary and AustinPlus reviews, where today we are finally doing a review on Stranger Things Season 5, and this time we are doing a review on Stranger Things Season 5. Yes, my brother has returned for another commentary video in which we are going to be discussing the whole of Stranger Things Season 5, as we did watch all of it together, each of them with their own emotional roller coaster. So without further ado, let's just get into it. First of all, like always, we discuss the best characters, moments and all that, but mainly this one, because it's a bit different, it will mainly just be an open discussion of our thoughts on the series and based on what we actually remember. So we'll start off with talking about the main big bad himself, El Vecna.
Hello, Zempic.
Yeah, he definitely, I kind of want to know his ab plan, definitely.
Yeah, what's his plan on?
Yeah, but Vecna solidifies his place as one of the series' greatest characters and probably one of the greatest villains known on Netflix, evolving from a terrifying monster into a deeply psychological and, as my brother said, Ozempic villain.
What's it crisps as well.
Oh, what's it crisps? That's quite funny.
Fucking what's it.
The actor's performance reaches the new heights as he portrays the character's more of the psychological side, and I think that's the thing that we were most intrigued about, especially in episode 8 and 6. But I think the actor was absolutely phenomenal, especially because we saw the new persona, Mr. What's-It-Crisps, as you said, where he manipulates the children by posing as a safe and parental figure, shall we say. Now, the season deepens his backstory with, like, what happened in the caves, how he became one with the Mind Flayer, emphasis on the one, revealing his tragic isolation and lack of human connection with that initially drove him to the Mind Flayer, the devious and horrendous creature that I want to say we all know and love, but I'm still terrified to this day.
Mate, it's dead. We think.
We think. That thing has still got more gas particles in Dimension X than anywhere else. You could say that this Vecna is the type of character that does have a fair few dimensions to him. Now, I think the whole idea around Vecna is that it targets the vulnerability and trauma of certain characters, in Hawkins here with Holly. See, the thing is, I want to say Holly and Derek, but I don't know what kind of trauma they experienced. Yes, they were vulnerable because they were kids, and then they had some sort of they were easily, what's the word, led, that's it,
Captured?
Yeah, easily captured because they were easily led, but they didn't suffer like trauma such as Max did in season 3 and season 4. But Vecna becomes more than just the physical threat. He serves as the dark mirror to many of the protagonists, such as Eleven and Will, as we learned. And he represents the ultimate consequence of unresolved grief and alienation.
Boy, get over your trauma.
It was just a stone, man. It was literally all it was that drove him to be the way he was, is a flipping stone.
Bro seen rocks and got angry.
That goes hard.
Pussy.
His presence in the show forces the core group into their most difficult and moral, emotional confrontations, which, I'm gonna be honest, let's just admit it now, we both cried, didn't we?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think it's like a lot of people resonate with the likes of Friends, Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
And you can, obviously there's a lot of emotion attached in those ones because in a way people have grown up with those characters in their lives and can relate to those characters. And in a way you can also relate to the Stranger Things, the cast, not obviously with the radioactive monsters, but the character developments of feeling misplaced, misunderstood, because realistically they only have each other, and because they've gone through a shared experience, you kind of see it. They rely on each other, and sometimes too heavily, with like Nancy and Jonathan's relationship. You know that shouldn't be a relationship that's together, because
I'm so glad that they when we all...
It's a relationship built on like trauma
Yeah.
because you won't ever understand it, which you can kind of understand, but also it's the way that they didn't make it unhealthy, and when they broke up, it was like shake hands, move on.
Yeah, how they all should be.
Well, how all relationships should be.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Now to the next best character of the show, and I think we can both agree on this one. Derek Turnbow I think he stands out as one of the best characters due to his humorous redemption arc with comments like
Suck my fat one.
What did he say?
But no one can argue that kind of like humor. But then his transformation is very similar to Steve. Season 1, everyone hated him, and then season 2 became banging. Derek Turnbow, episodes 1, 2, and 3, absolute dick, shall we say? Yeah, a rat. Episode 4 onwards, absolutely delightful, as they said.
Hence his name.
Yeah, well, you went from dipshit to delightful. That's quite a character arc right there. He was initially introduced as we said, the bully, nicknamed Dipshit Derek. I'm still He quickly evolves into the fan favorite unlikely hero after being targeted by Vecna. I can't believe you do that. Honestly, I think Derek Turnbow is the key hero here. Screw Will, screw 11, Derek on top. Actually, Steve is number 1.
Yeah, you can't diss my boy Steve.
Now, his character gains significant depth as he shifts from basically tormenting Holly Wheeler to many people stating that they should do like a 20 years later sequel where Derek and Holly are married.
Have you seen the meme
Lois,
that's come out?
Yeah,
Lois and Peter Griffin.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Funny.
Yeah. I definitely think he earned his other nickname, Delightful Derek, after volunteering for the dangerous covert mission of saving the other children. Because, yeah, I wouldn't be rocking up into a military thing. I'd just stay well away.
Yeah.
Now, as you said, I'll leave this a lot to you because, I mean, don't get me wrong, we all love Steve Harrington, but he's definitely your favorite beyond a shadow, like no doubt. But he cemented his legacy as the show's emotional anchor by completing one of the most remarkable Zero to Heroes across 5 seasons. Probably one of the best and most spaced out arcs in television history, I would say. Alongside Louis Litt. I know I'm going back to Suits. Louis Litt is another Steve Harrington. Absolute dick in the first season. Onwards, actually, to be fair, in the season 2.
I think from about season 5 onwards, he gets a lot more likable.
In season 2, when he went with Daniel Hardman, no. Season 3 onwards, yes, I agree. However, one of the most intense moments of this finale was the definite radio tower where Steve nearly falls to his death, and I think Marcus's chest exited his body or his soul at that point.
But just to quote Tom in one of the videos for me that will come out, my anus puckered.
Thank you.
Puckering anus.
And I love how his heroically former rival is saved by Jonathan Byers. Turns out he did have a purpose after all.
he did one thing.
Yeah, he did one thing in the whole show. I think this was definitely a powerful scene that finally buries their long-standing. I don't know how to say this word, so I'm just gonna say dick swinging competition.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put
definitely
it.
call it that.
I don't want to go over every single character, so I'm just going to basically put them as a collective as one. But during this season, the character arcs reached a very emotional and conclusive endpoint that really emphasizes the growth and transition from season 1 into practically adulthood. So Marcus was always, basically, for the first 2-3 episodes, you were saying, why is Will still here? Why is he here? Why not just kill him? Yada, yada, yada. And then in season 5, he finally fulfills his long-teased destiny by seizing control of the psychic connection to Vecna, such as the hive mind. and transforms from a very passive little bitch, shall we say?
He goes from being an NPC to growing a consciousness.
But he transforms from the passive character to a powerful force that is capable of basically manipulating the upside down creatures such as the Demogorgon and the Demo Bats, but we didn't see the Demo Bats. However, where the fuck were they all during during the finale? Were they all just on vacation?
Yeah, celebrating New Year's, mate. They're like, nah, I've got my annual leave. Fuck off.
I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Do
you know what the Duffer Brothers said in an interview, though? It's because Vecna was expecting them all to come on their home turf. I don't think that's the proper, thing you should say. Surely his hive mind should go, right, lads, they're all here. Zoom here. We all found out this season how flipping fast these Demogorgons are. It wouldn't take a flipping, it wouldn't take 10 years for them to go from one end of a planet to go zoom into wherever that flipping spire was. Now, Eleven's journey concludes with a selfless sacrifice. However, it was confirmed that she is actually still alive, and she chooses to vanish alongside the collapsing of the Upside Down, which we all found out was a wormhole, and that was the best reveal ever. They
call me the Albert Einstein of this generation.
I still think. Now, the reason I'm going to say this now is I think we missed a whole episode, because episode 5 was basically the escape from Camzot, and then we finally found out what the Upside Down was in episode 6, which then the next one was called The Bridge. I feel like we missed an episode, but
called Einstein's Wormy Hole.
Yeah. However, I think we watched it a couple days later, and I am aware that we watched a bit of there was a couple spoilers that we did see.
I told you all the spoilers I've seen.
I don't know if that's one that I think that's one that you might have seen, or because you came out with that before we even put on this, just before we put on the 6th episode.
No, I'd seen a picture of what's his face, the teacher, pointing at a wormhole. And I'm like, I never thought it was a circle. It didn't make sense. Because they kind of went off clocks very quickly. Clocks was very much season 4.
Yes.
The clocks weren't going to be a part of this season, so I'm like, well, I don't think they're right in the clock aspect. I can't explain, but why are they talking about wormholes too much? These kids did not seem smart enough to understand simple quantum physics. So I'm like, quantum physics? What about this?
I mean, Dustin understood what it was. Mainly because he's a nerd, but
I mean, he didn't know. He still got he still got it abhorrently wrong.
Well, he did say in the show we have been dead wrong about the Upside Down. So yeah, I would assume so. But no. The whole idea of the Upside Down being a wormhole, I think, is so cool, because I think the idea of, because no one clocked this. So the Upside Down was formed the day that 11 was in the void and made contact with the Demogorgon in the void, and the Upside Down was in that point, and Will had not been taken at that moment. And so that bridge was built, not built, but it basically appeared once that contact had happened. So she had made contact with Dimension X. Now, as I said, and the last person I would say is that Mike Wheeler evolves into the grounding leader that started despite his grief over 11. But it also helps the group maintain hope by weaving a narrative of basically everyone's survival, including 11's. Now, the finale, as we have just covered, took place in Dimension X. The one thing I have a tiny nitpick of is that Dimension X, it was only introduced for a tiny scene during season 4. Then we got basically one whole episode regarding the final battle that took place in Dimension X. I feel like we should have got a bit more.
I mean, probably, but that's probably why it's been left open, so you can we can explore further into what Dimension X is, what the Hellscape is. Remember that they wanted to make this like the MCU, so you leave X amount of questions unanswered, and you spend the next better part another 10 years going, let's explain this.
Now, I'm so glad you've mentioned that, because you've literally just slipped right into the next bit I want to talk about. Sequels!
I'm just that great.
Pardon?
I said, I know, I'm just that great.
Oh, shut up. So sequels. I have said that sequels ruin a franchise.
What?
Depends on how it's done.
So, I think sequels ruin a franchise when something is made.
Okay, ignore me then.
I'm gonna explain, you dip. Fuck me. Right. Star Wars, for example. Episode 4, 5, and 6 was what came out first, and then we had episodes 1, 2, and 3. Those are prequels. Absolutely phenomenal films. And the official sequels came out, episodes 7, 8, and 9. So Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and...
No. The Force Awakens was good.
Yeah, iffy. And then,
no.
Yes! Right,
The Force Awakens was good.
It wasn't as good as every other one. Actually,
Yeah, but
we can all... Sorry, carry on.
You're rebooting a fucking iconic show after about, what, 10 years? Okay, you've got to kind of create new characters, and the ones that they had created were pretty solid.
Agree to disagree.
No, in The Force Awakens was good. Okay, it set up some incredible plot lines. Okay, it was more what they did afterwards.
To be fair, it was I will say, it was a very linear decline. it was a straight line graph that I absolutely hated.
It was a 90-degree angle. It started off well and then fell off a cliff.
Yeah, an opposite right angle.
The motherfucker went off Mount Everest.
It was actually a perfect square. It has the circular circumference of a square. Now, we're really deviating from the subject. However, there is a animated show soon to come out, whether it's in the spring or summer, I have no clue. That I hope me and Marcus are going to watch. I might drag him to watch it. It's called Stranger Things Tales from 85. Now, Tales from 85 is an animated show that is still perfectly canon. It takes place in between season 2 and 3. In season 3, Dustin goes on holiday or goes to a camp, and essentially this is before he goes away to his summer vacation or his camp. I think it was a science fair or something. And this is all takes place between that. So it's straight after season 2, but before season 3. That is what this show is. Now, there was a leaked image. Now, whether this is true or false, I think this is false because this is stupid, in my opinion. But there is a spin-off that was officially confirmed by the Duffer Brothers that there is a show that is going to explore the stone, not the character, not Henry Creel, not the Mind Flare, or maybe probably the Mind Flare, but they're going to discuss the stone. Now, I think a good show would be the Hawkins people in the lab actually exploring the Upside Down and then finding out what Dimension X, because as we learnt in season 5, they knew way before everyone else that this was a wormhole and that it was exotic matter and that it was a Dimension X. A standalone show of just exploring what they actually are, what they mean to science and blah 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 flip blah, that would be good. Because it has been confirmed that the upcoming show will have nothing to do with the same characters. It will take place in a completely different area, different characters, different era. So now they didn't say it would take place in the future, so it could be a prequel. I think prequels add dimensions to it. Not sequels. Sequels are bad. So, do you want to say something?
I think exploring the stone would be a good. Like, it's a good idea because it gives you context and shit like that. Like, it gives you backstory, critical exposition that is needed. And I feel like it's not a bad thing to do, but I also do think exploring the perspectives of scientists and what they knew. I think also Dr. Bremer's father doing that one and how
Yeah.
the first discovery upon Dimension X and why Dr. Bremer became so obsessed and what his obsession was driven by. Because you can think of Dr. K and Dr. Bremer as two similar characters, but they're not.
Yeah, I thought...
Bremer, with that information, was kind of trying to build...
Continue his father's work.
Yeah, continue his father's work and get to the other side. Whereas Kay is motivated by
Powers.
the fact that she's a government gimp.
Yes. She was trying to basically... but the thing is, I think what pissed me off more was that they got an actor from flipping Terminator to play such a little role, and Dr. Brenner was a sort of a big role, but as soon as he died, no one remembered him and no one cared. But Dr. K, when they announced that Linda Hamilton was going to be playing her, the person that played Sarah Connor in Terminator, and then they came out with that. That's one thing I have an issue with. I think if she had some sort of ties to Dr. Brenner, that would have been good. But it was literally confirmed that she was just a government official. But
They couldn't have the whole road hunky-dory.
Why? What, things linking? Why would they do that? But the one thing I will say is that this show was absolutely phenomenal. The finale, there are so many... Yeah, the conformity gates shit. That, I think, was funny, and I did believe it for a tiny bit of the week, but it just got a bit...
It's gone back up again.
Oh, God. I give up. I gave up with it. But...
They basically have theorized that once the behind-the-scenes releases today, they'll do another episode.
Yeah, no, they won't. They absolutely won't.
I don't know. I don't really care enough.
But Stranger Things 5, I think the finale was good as it is, and I don't want to reopen those can of worms again, really.
In one aspect, I can see why people are complaining. There are a fair amount of continuity errors.
Yes, a fair amount, but it's not enough to basically... I love the memes I've seen.
I think it's not enough to shit on the show completely.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think you still have an element of... You can... I do think it's good that they've left the doors open to bringing back certain characters and exploring deeper roots within characters, because I feel like that's what some of the characters need.
Yep.
But I'm also... I do understand people's cynicity, like why people are being so cynical, because some key parts are like the Demobats and things like that you've seen throughout the series, and the fact that they weren't present is kind of weird, and the fact that the big bad it took a guy longer to come out as gay than it took to kill the big bad of the entire show is kind of weird, but it also just shows that they know what they're doing. Like, it also shows the progression to adolescence.
The one thing I think would be like is a tiny bit funny about there was so much evidence regarding the conformity gate. There was so much evidence, but people I think were reading too much into it. But as I was speaking to Mum, parents have both watched it. They absolutely loved the show. They liked the ending, and I love the music in the ending. Absolutely perfect. But the one thing that I understood from all of this is it's people are like, oh, there has to be another finale. There has to be more. It's grief. There's
I
five
mean-
stages of grief, and the first one is denial, and it's like, oh,
Well,
it's
no,
not ended.
well, see,
It's not ended.
Everyone also loves a cynical ending. Everyone, you expected about half the cast to get offed.
Oh
Like-
God, yeah. We did a bingo for this, and when the first very episode passed, we reconvened with a bingo, and 5 out of the 9 were him. This person's gonna die. This person's gonna die.
Yeah, in my first, I think 5 of my 9 squares were, this motherfucker's dead, this person's dead, someone's dead.
I was just like, yeah, you really want people to die, don't you? I just wanted
just seemed
Ted to
like that
die.
was-
I just wanted Ted to die.
It just seemed like the obvious direction of where it was going, but
Yeah.
obviously they didn't go down that route. But I understand people's frustration where people think that they've kind of just gone off a whim and made it. The Duffel brothers have said that they have a very low knowledge of D&D, considering it's a series based around D&D.
Yeah.
I don't think that does look good for them.
But I think the thing that shot himself in the foot was like the Thessal Hydra stuff, and then Eddie coming back as Kaz, the vampire person that helped Vecna. They did shoot themselves in the foot in those aspects, but again, I don't think that part of the D&D connection was that big of a deal.
I do think it is, though. It is a big deal because, especially with the ending, you see Mike, Will, Lucas, Dustin, Max,
Yep.
all hang up their D&D books, and the new generation of Holly, Derek, and all the other kids going to play D&D to kind of restart the cycle of their own childhoods.
Yeah.
That's why I think there's a lot of expectation that they should be doing something with the fact that they've gone down the D&D route. And I think that's where the kind of cynicism comes from, where it's like these kids' lives are based around D&D. And so obviously it's got to be original, but straying away and like not keeping to some sort of lore does kind of shoot them in the foot. But in my opinion, it was a great ending. The only thing I fear for is, this will be like the final notes, is in the sequels and prequels, they have to hard stick to their guns, which was don't bring any old characters back.
Yep.
And if you do, only do it for like periods of context and helping certain characters in certain ways, but not have them be long-term parts of
Yeah.
movies or series. Because
Yeah.
I think that's where you start to kill a franchise.
I think in 20 years' time, if they did it like again, that would be quite cool. But
Yeah.
not in a case of like bringing them back in a sequel. I agree with that, yes. But without further ado, folks, that is the review, the very long review for our thoughts on Stranger Things 5. And I really enjoyed it. There's no doubt about that. But without further ado, folks, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe and comment what else you would like to see on this channel. But I hope you have an amazing day as always. And go and check out my brother's channel as well. And if you would like him on the channel more, do let me know. And without further ado, hope you have an amazing day. And as always, and I'll see you all in the next one, folks. Bye.
Peace.
Yeah.